And now it's time for the bald and the beautiful.
The Week 11 edition of The Bald and the Beautiful. Tim Hasselbeck and myself are bald. I'm balding-ish. So let's talk about some of the... I'm balding. There's still something there, Tim. I'm hanging on tough, my friend. And speaking of hanging on tough, let's talk about some beautiful offenses that maybe aren't as beautiful recently. People wondering about them. And we start with Tom Brady. 1 touchdown pass in the last 3 games. 1. Went on the road to Tennessee. Yeah. Kind of got his butt kicked here. As he heads into the bye, he's the number 12 quarterback in fantasy. Just curious what we see out of this Patriots offense. And I think a lot of people are wondering is with 6 teams on a bye this week, do I drop Tom Brady? Am I safe to do that to pick up another quarterback, like if I need one?
I don't think you're safe to drop Tom Brady, and I wouldn't drop him. But I would say, and this came up on Fantasy Football Now, is, you know, Ryan Fitzpatrick was ranked ahead of Tom Brady. I mean, I think that's where we've gotten. And no Rob Gronkowski in that offense. So when he's hurt, it just doesn't look like the same offense. No. And, you know, we've kind of had some fun about the Josh Gordon impact, but they just haven't really connected. I will say this, and I've felt this way for a long time. Brady's not falling off the cliff. This offense will get back on track. Their upcoming schedule, I think, you know, with 2 games against the Jets on the horizon, a game against Miami on the horizon, I do think there are better days ahead for Tom Brady. But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibilities to also have another quarterback that you maybe prefer on a week-to-week basis.
Think about this, actually on a per-game basis over the last 3 games, he's QB 27. But to your point, after the bye, plays the Jets. He's expected to get Rob Gronkowski back here. So my feeling on Brady is that, look, he's not the top 2 quarterback you drafted. I think that's gone, the way this offense is running, and they're running the ball effectively, and I think they will, especially after the break when they get Michelle back and then Rex Burkhead's coming back as well. But I think he's kind of a borderline top 10, top 12-ish kind of guy. So he's still a QB1, just kind of at a lower level than what you drafted him at. Speaking of another high-powered offense, okay, the Eagles, you know, Sunday night was bizarre to me. Right, brutal. I mean, right, they had 2 weeks to prepare for this team. They're playing a Cowboys team that had just got their butts kicked by the Titans and traveling on a short week. Games in Philadelphia. And the offense just doesn't look right. I mean, Wentz gets a couple of late touchdown passes. Zach Ertz is obviously a stud, but I have Alshon Jeffrey on a team, a little nervous. Like, I'm curious your thoughts about the Eagles offense going forward. Was it just a bad game, or is there a reason to be concerned outside of Wentz and Ertz?
No, I think there's legitimate reason to be concerned. So you're right. You know, Wentz and Ertz will end up being fine. Ertz especially, just because it just seems like they're really finding ways to get him open, and he's so talented. But they're not running the ball as well as they were running a year ago, not even close. And then that backfield is such a share. I mean, it's so split up that, you know, there's not a back that you can truly count on. And we talked about this on Fantasy Football Now on Sunday as well. The addition of Golden Tate, I think, is just bad for everybody, Tate included, in terms of the wide receiver group in Philadelphia. Because now you have 3 guys that I think will end up kind of with kind of even target shares and, you know, probably, you know, up and down production. And then, you know, Jordan Matthews kind of has much a part of that passing game as Tate, Jeffrey, or Nelson Aguilar. So I think the receivers are the guys that you can't necessarily trust on a week-in and week-out basis in Philadelphia. And really the only game, that's the case with the run game as well. And so, yeah, you're left with Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz.
I'm still holding on hope for Alshon Jeffrey. Look, it was a bad game, make no mistake, but had an end zone target.
But don't you think he's touchdown dependent?
He is a little touchdown dependent. Look, still led the team with 44 routes run. He was second in targets on the team behind Zach Ertz. This is on the game on Sunday night with Golden Tate active and against the Cowboys. Look, he had an end zone target that would have been a touchdown if, frankly, Wentz threw a bad ball. And so, yes, he's a little bit touchdown dependent for me. So he's more wide receiver 2 than wide receiver 1 that I think, you know, somebody else could potentially be in this offense. But I'm still holding out hope.
And you feel like Golden Tate's kind of the loser in this as well?
Still? Oh, 100%. Yeah, right. I mean, because his game's always been volume, and he's just not going to get the volume in Philadelphia, not with Ertz and Aguilar and Jeffrey and just sort of all the weapons they have there. But to your point, it is a 3-headed monster in the run game here. All right, so Cincinnati has been busy recently. They fire the defensive coordinator. They bring back Hugh Jackson as a special assistant. Now, this is a team that we were all buying into the the Bill Lazor offense and hey, the Bengals offense and hey, this is something. Saints come in there, absolutely destroy them, and you think, well, if the Saints put up 50, you would think that the Bengals would put up some at least junk time points.
Right.
They did nothing. Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, they all disappoint. Andy Dalton was brutal. What do we see in this Bengals offense? Is there anyone we can trust here? How do you break this down?
I don't think I'm going to totally panic, on the Saints game alone. I just think this: take a true number one wide receiver, and remove him from the team that he's on. So take Julio away, take Odell Beckham away. Like take any true number one away. And I think that the impact on the offense is really significant. It affects the run game, it affects the quarterback drastically, and I think it affects the complementary wide receivers. And so, while I do think Tyler Boyd is a really good player, he's much
not A.J.
better.
Green.
No, he's just much better when A.J. Green's there and he plays inside and they move him around. And so I think there'll be good days for Tyler Boyd without A.J. Green in the lineup, but John Ross has continued to disappoint, for a guy that was a first-round draft pick. And I think that if you were hoping to kind of have sustained Tyler Boyd production, I don't think that you're going to get it without A.J. Green.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit more inconsistent than I think we had hoped. And certainly if he couldn't do it against the Saints, hard to see him doing against, like, the Ravens, for example. At least the volume is there for Mixon, but I would say I'm downgrading Mixon as well. To me, Mixon, who was more of a locked and loaded RB1, more of a high-end RB2 now as well. So I agree, not panicking. Not 100% Hugh Jackson is the answer to what ails them. I think it'd be better just to get A.J. Green back, and that may not happen until December. But still, yes, I agree with you. You're probably still rolling out Mixon and Boyd just with lowered expectations. For all the latest fantasy football news and analysis, you can binge watch all the episodes of the Fantasy Show right now on ESPN+.